Well, good afternoon and welcome to another Lunch and Learn with us here at Action Coach in Birmingham. Do hope you're all keeping well and safe in this uncertain weather at the moment and uncertain times. It's great, though, to have the certainty of Sami Mubarak from MEX Sales and Lettings. He is the new Larry King. He's the new Terry Wogan. He is the best in chat show host in Birmingham. Sami, I've seen you all over the media, all over social media over the last year. How are you doing?
Yes, Steve, thanks for that lovely intro. I'm doing all right. I'm doing very well. I'm not sure Terry Wogan will be happy of me being compared to him, but I don't even know how I got into becoming some sort of chat show guy, but it's happened and I'm doing it. So, yeah,
well, it's a great example, Sami. I mean, the reason I was keen to have a chat this lunchtime is you've used social media and you've used video and film as a great way to keep your business going, to keep connected with clients and customers, haven't you? And your presence online has really rocketed over the last 12 months.
Yeah, I hope so. We've been investing in that. We see the value, and we've basically spent the last 2.5 years fine tuning what works for us. And I think we're not there yet. I don't think we'll ever be perfect, but we're getting there. We're working out what the customers want and what people like to see, what they like to view, and we just keep recreating content.
At the risk of embarrassing you, Sami, what I'd like to do is just share the video that's on your homepage. Actually, I think it's brilliant. So let's have a listen to this.
Only 1 minute as well, so like
more important than ever. If you make something look good online, okay, you're going to attract more people to that listing, to that property. With the video, the photo, the virtual tour, the social media, we have got the wraparound service for marketing. You've got to have the best marketing. You've got to do it in the best and most important way. So I massively believe in the marketing side of listing houses online, and this is why I go to the extent of using drones for every single sale property. We use virtual 360 tours. We use state-of-the-art technology to take the most amazing photos. If you don't market the property properly, how do you know you've shown it to the right amount of people and got the best value that the house deserves?
Yeah,
there we are, Sami.
Very true.
I love that, and I love the fact that I've done a few meetings in the past. Let me just make sure I've stopped your video. I've done a few videos in the past. It's really hard to get the message over in just 1 minute, but you've done it really well there.
Thank you.
Before we go on to talk a bit about video, just tell us very briefly, Sami, a bit about the background, a bit about you and your business.
MEX is was created on my dining room table in 2009 with my dad. And I never thought 11, 12 years later on, I would have an office on the high street in Harborne with 5 staff, me, managing a large portfolio of properties, selling more than we thought we would sell. I never thought it, but yeah, it took a number of years to work out the direction. And the last 5 years have been very good at MEX. And it formed from an accident, really. I was made redundant from the company I worked for. And then from that moment, my entrepreneurial head came on, and I just did what I knew and just started a company. And here we are. Flash forward 12 years.
Did
you get interviewed?
Did you have a background in the industry before? Was it a new industry?
Yeah,
to you?
Of course. So my degree's property based. My postgrad diploma is property development, which was studied at Birmingham City University, and then my undergraduate was at UWE, which is University of West England, Bristol, which was construction and property management. The certificate above my head here.
Oh, yeah.
I've got proof. That I did it. And yeah, that was my background. I've always liked property. My dad's always refurbished the house we lived in, and I always helped him. And property was always sort of like my aim. I thought more development side. That's why I did the masters in it, but then ended up getting the postgrad diploma. So I started MEX. But yeah, it's always been a property. It's a tangible asset. You can see it. You can see what you bought and you managed and you sold. I refurbished numerous houses for myself to climb the ladder. I've also refurbished loads of houses for my landlords and my customers over the time. So I've got, I understand what customers want. I also am very pragmatic and I'm great at solving problems. And most refurbishments that I come across, I manage to, I project manage them on behalf of my clients as well. But yeah, I've got a massive property head on.
There's an industry that's as all industries, but it's gone through its ups and downs, roller coaster over the last 12 months with various incentives starting and stopping, and the chains and the moving, being able to move with COVID restrictions. But
yeah,
Sammy, you've clearly from that video as well, you've capitalized and had a real pivot in your business in terms of how you use video photography. You mentioned drones as well.
yes.
So tell us a bit about that journey. When did you realize, or when did you start thinking, actually, I need to change my marketing strategy? I need to think about how I can maximize. I mean, it's a lovely view of your office, even on the front of that video. When did you start thinking, I need to up my game with my video footage, with my photography, and use that to market the business and properties?
Okay, so it all stems back to when I started, when I started employing people for social media. So I started employing a company to subcontract the social media out. And basically, after a couple of months, I decided to employ a social media manager inside the office.
So you
that takes
subcontracted it, then you brought somebody in.
Yeah.
And what was the decision for bringing somebody in?
The reason I felt it was more personal, I had more control. It was in the office. I could literally say to them, I want this, this, and this. And it was quick turnaround. And we could utilize the person to do multiple things. It was quicker. Everything was faster. Instead of waiting for their pipeline or their diary to fill empty to do our work, I could just do it there and then. And I believe marketing has to be, the best. It has to be the most important part of selling a home. So we started employing social media in-house, which meant Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
That was during lockdown, was it, Sammy?
No, a year before that. A year before. It goes back a year before that. I think even a year and a half before that. And then we had like a process. It was all set up. But while we were doing that, we realized video was key. And I was scared to go on camera. I didn't want to talk on camera. I was
you and I both.
Face. Yeah.
We go back to the beginning of lockdown, and my colleagues were saying, we ought to take some of our content, our webinars, our workshops online. And I was saying, no, I don't want to do that. But lockdown is sort of, the pandemic has forced us all to think differently, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's changed a lot of people's opinions and a lot of things. Yeah. So my first video was in 2019. January 2019 was my first video. I used to go outside properties, which I wasn't selling, and just talk about the house and advertise it to my investors and say, go and buy this property. And when you buy it, use us to rent it. I did, 50 of those properties, and it worked. I got confidence. I worked out what style was good for me on camera. And then we carried on doing that. I went on training. I went to the Single Agent Rainmaker training. And they said, look, you need to start telling your landlords, how you can help them, how you can solve their problems. So I started creating legislation videos, property market updates, telling them what to do, what not to do, updating them about changes in what's going to happen with EICR reports. So basically, I became like an online. You can go on YouTube and say, how do I get around rent guarantee? And my video would come up and people would see it. We'd post it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
It's fair to say a lot of your videos initially, and I think still are a lot about giving rather than selling the business, about giving advice and helping and building that credibility for you in the business.
Yeah. I went on this training called online authority building. So to work out how to build your authority online, and it was all about giving, never taking. And it's just natural. People, if you give enough information, eventually they come to you.
I think the sales approaches over the last 18 months with pandemic has changed, hasn't it? It's a lot more about giving and supporting. And through doing that, people will build trust, confidence, get to know, like, and trust you, and then want to do business with you. Is that the experience you've had?
Completely. Know, like, and trust is a BNI thing as well. But the law of reciprocation, I've massively, believe in that. I've read books about it. Well, I've not read, listened to books. I don't like reading that much. And it's worked. A lot of people out there just, boast. Oh, we've sold this, we've sold that, we do this, we do that. Oh, look at this. There's a time for boasting. But if that's the only content you're regurgitating, people don't want to hear that. People love to read, they love stories, they love information. And then they love sexy stuff, like sexy videos about not people, houses, and they like that. And then we sort of adapted. So when we go back to we started the legislation videos, the giving videos, but then we've made hundreds of those videos. They're everywhere. And then that lasted till about January 2020. And then we realized the market for selling properties, no one was making videos. So I invested in some gimbals and some camera equipment, not high end, very basic stuff. And that was in January 2020, just before lockdowns one and the whole pandemic. And we released our first couple of videos, which my social media manager was helping me edit in the office, and people loved it. People weren't doing it, and it was amazing.
You're talking the lingo, Sammy. You're releasing the videos, releasing your films. You've just mentioned a bit about equipment there, and Sarah's just sent a message or a question. In terms of equipment, are you using specialist equipment? Are you using sort of, are you using your mobile phone? What is it you're using to create these, in many cases, absolutely stunning videos?
Yeah, so back then we were using gimbal, like a phone gimbal, with an iPhone or a GoPro to film. And we bought mics, we bought Rode Wireless Go mics. And those were amazing because you put one in here, one on the bottom of the phone, and you're completely wireless, so you can move around.
Right, yes, yeah.
But without a gimbal, you can't do a moving shot because it wobble and it won't look that smart. So you're stuck to static. We started off with static, we got the gimbal, and we used the phone. And it was okay, but you're limited on what you can edit, how you can control it, how you can tweak it, how you can make it look good. Lighting, you can't change the exposure. There's a lot of things you can't adapt on an iPhone, although they're good. They're very good cameras. When it gets down to it, you need a little bit more. So then we invested in another camera in March, and we went into lockdown. So we pretty much stopped creating property tours and walkthroughs for about 6-7 weeks, and we started creating, we started doing Zoom communications, a bit like this.
Yes. I remember back in March last year, I came and joined you, didn't I? In a conversation, one of your first ones, I think.
Yeah, I remember we did this here. It's called Here to Chat, and we basically interview people about how they're coping, how they're changing, and we just shared it all over social media. And it got us traction. It got us noticed. People knew who we were. And instead of going to sleep for 6 weeks, I just did something which made me no money, but it's created a bigger profile for me, and my business has benefited from it. And that is the giving mentality, isn't it? You do something which makes nothing, but in the long run, it will benefit you. And we gained followers. We gained, we got interviewed by property experts in the industry, not estate agents, actual people who are in the industry who supply to us, estate agents. And that was quite interesting to be interviewed by those guys as well. And then we went back to work. It's near enough a year. We went back to work in May. The 15th of May 2020 was the day that Boris allowed us to go back to work and start conducting viewings. And we were ready to go, ready to start, more video. And we started creating video. We offered video for every single sale property for free and every single rental property for free. So it's included in the service as standard. Not many companies are doing that. They all charge £500 for a video because they sub it out, but we do it in-house. You don't need to do that because it's all part of our margins as well. So we're built into the structure of our business.
Video to create a USP in your business against your competitors.
So we basic video has changed the way we work, and it's changed the way we are, and everything needs to be video. This is video, obviously, it's going out onto our socials. And then we looked at what was missing from the video, and the thing missing was the quality of the video. So we reinvested in another camera. We bought this camera, which is worth more than a car, basically. And we bought a gimbal, which is very, very expensive. We bought new lights, we bought new mics, and just reinvested back into the company again. And the videos we're producing now are 4K videos, and they're absolutely stunning. The only thing holding us back is the way that Rightmove compress the videos, because
there's a couple of questions there. So obviously there's two sides to that. One is you started off with using a camera, which is great, and I think that's where a lot of business owners start, and you then moved up to sort of mid-level camera equipment. In terms of the investment and the investment in your skills, do you think which came first? A lot of organizations, I can imagine, either haven't got the time or the skill, or are anxious about investing in the equipment and not doing it justice.
Yeah, so that's a massive thing that is. So I outgrew my other camera, so we pushed it to its limits. It's an entry-level camera, and it was for video, but it was the first DSLR that Canon brought out, and we basically couldn't do anything else. The sensor, the light wasn't high enough quality, therefore it overexposed. It made the picture really noisy, which means where it's bright, a bit like the side of your head there. It's really noisy. They call it. It's like where you can't really see the texture. That
the
side
window on one side of the office. Yeah,
exactly. So the window, exactly. So the cameras were doing that. So to stop that, it becomes really dark, and then the dark video it doesn't look good. So we had to reinvest into professional level camera, and obviously you can get very good quality from an iPhone 12 Pro Max, like stunning quality, but you can't do as much with it as you wanted to. And we bought this new Sony camera, which we're still learning how to use it. You have to watch YouTube videos, how to get the best out of it. It's so techy. It's so techy. But it's nice to have.
Yeah. Do you have an in-house team now that produces video? Yeah. Captures, edits, produces the film for you, or is it all done by you? I mean, I know
I've got an in-house marketing team. We've got a marketing team now who produce all the videos, edit them, distribute them, share them, and then basically once it's completed, they put it onto the software which uploads it to the internet, and it's out there. I am limited on what I can edit. It's not quick. Each video takes about 3 hours to edit, and an hour to record. So you're looking 4 hours for the video, and I get why some companies charge for it because they employ a company to come and do it. But I employ a videographer in the office because it's not just videos for houses we do. Yes, the last 3 days we've produced 3 videos about property market updates for Birmingham. We've also produced a video about selling a property without a portal. I've produced a lettings market update. So we produced 3 videos, which will be going out probably today, to be fair. And I felt the only way to get what I wanted when I wanted it was to reinvest in an employee in-house. Obviously, you can do everything cheaper in life. Everything can be done cheaper. And I could, not bother with the quality, but I want my videos to be the best. I want it, I want them to sound the best, look the best, have the best finish, and have the best message. And
I remember was it Stuart Rose, chief executive of Marks and Spencer's many years ago, said you make your choice, you pay your price, and you absolutely everything can be done at different levels, different cost points, can't they? And for that you get your different quality of products at the end. From that, I mean, do you feel you're getting the return on investment you would want to from it? You've clearly invested a lot in video in your business. Anything you do differently?
Well, I think I'll do differently in terms of right now, I'll probably buy another camera.
Right.
So I can do it quicker.
Right.
We use the same camera for photo and video, and it probably adds on about half an hour to each job. So if we had 2 cameras, we would probably do it everything a little bit faster. That's the only thing I would change. But the cameras, we're not buying entry-level cameras. We're buying high-end professional cameras, which they're not cheap. And everything, like you said, everything can be done cheaper. But what I want from my business and how my business to be portrayed online, I want it to be the best. And I'm striving for that. And my customers probably don't even notice the difference between a good photo or a bad photo, but I do. And my standards are high, and I want that to resonate through all the way down through my business, so everyone knows we want the best. We're not an award-winning agent without being the best and having that trickle-down ethos. And I know sometimes we might go OTT with things, but that's my business, and I can operate it the way I want, and that's how we can command higher fees for what we do.
And going back to March last year, Sammy, at the beginning of lockdown, if you could do anything differently, what decision would you make? Have you made that you would go back and change or would do differently?
I think the one thing which I like about what you're doing right now, you've made this webinar look really, really slick. So you've got this background here. I'm looking at, you've got your Scan Me on the side. I reckon if I had spent a little bit more time on our videos, they would produce them more, it'd be better. But it was early days, and I feel like my pivot was I had a minute to pivot and I did it. And I became that local guy that interviewed all the companies. And the only thing I would change was better production and distribution. But the content was good. And I feel like it could have been a little bit slicker. But I learned from that. And when I look at this screen right now, I'm like, that looks amazing. And that's how I would love mine to look. I don't do this anymore because now we actually do the videos in our office and we record them in-house. Because we're doing face-to-face a lot more for business now.
It's kind of to say, our setup, but like we've evolved. It's taken us 12 months to get to where we are now. And say, if you were to talk to me in December 2019, January 2020, the quality of what we were doing, I think that I can say that openly in for every business. We've all evolved and adapted. We've all it feels like we've been flung forward 10 years or a decade in terms of how we are promoting and using technology. And it feels like, Sammy, you've gone forward 20 years, because I know you're now using drones. So tell me a bit about the drone side of the business and how you're using those in your marketing.
Yeah. So it's like, what's next? That's what I'm always thinking. We had a 360 camera, which we used, and we studied the data. No one watched the tours. Everyone didn't like clicking buttons, didn't like moving their fingers. So we sacked that off, and then we thought, what is next? What is the next step? The video, how to make the video better. And there was only one way, it was up. You had to go up. The drone, when you see the shots from a drone, they make my hair stand on end. Like that, I love the shots they can get, and adding that into the video just literally has made my videos, I think, fast forward 20 years. I love them. There is more to come. There are different types of drones you can have and use, which we're in the pipeline talking right now. But yeah, drone felt like it's the only option. It does make you stand out from the rest. If your videos are a drone, it looks different to someone walking around with an iPhone and a gimbal, just walking around a house. And I want to stand out. I want my marketing to stand out. I want people to see it. You know, look at that. The drone shots are so cool.
Absolutely, yeah. Just the shot there just makes the image and the whole image and your videos stand out and look more professional. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And are they, again, is that something you've invested in house, or is that something at the moment you're bringing it out external into?
We sub that at the moment, but with everything in life, you know, you get a taste for it, you test the water, and work out if you're going to invest properly.
Sounds like you need to split the cost with Sarah's next door, and I think, is that Toddy's or something next door? You need to.
Yeah, there's a barber's there. There's a few things up there. There's a learning centre. There's a few things. I think the step is to do it ourselves. If I'm honest, that will be the next step. But there's things out there called FPV drones, and they're like first-person viewers. You wear goggles, and you can fly in and out of houses and around houses, up and down.
I guess different size of drones and different quality footage.
It's like flying in a house, and that's where we want to get to. That's the next step for us. I shouldn't have told that on a bloody live webinar, but that's where we want to get to.
That's how you can use it in your business. Like, I'm now thinking outside the box. If you've got a product and maybe you're making jewelry, or you produce food and you want to film that, there's different ways you can do it. Slow motion, you can, I think just thinking outside the box is always the thing to do, and think, how can I do this differently? How can I present this differently? As you're talking there, Sammy, and thinking about what comes next, I'd love to see, maybe in 5 years' time, you're using video and, as people talking about the options of this property, so you could sort of artificial intelligence using that, is that the right phrase? Where you can see the extension added onto the house, or the garden using video and imagery.
We've explored that as well. Like, so subject to planning, I'm part of the video, you could like fill the gap in between the houses, how it could look. We looked at that. That is very techy, but it's not impossible. They do it on the like Grand Designs. When you watch that, you can see how they make the house create from the ground up. I would love that on the video.
Yeah.
But then you've got to command a really high fee, and people out there, people don't want to spend much. People like things done for cheap. They like to sell the house for the most and pay the least. That's the gap. They want the gap to be the biggest. But I keep going, and my model is not about volume. I'm not a volume agent. I'm a quality agent. I understand what my buyers want and my sellers need, and I work closely with them when I'm doing it, and I get a lot of repeat business because of that. And that's how I built my business, basically. And video has just like accelerated and helped me get to where we are now. And we've even employed someone to act in our videos now. One of our staff members is employed to be in the video, because they don't want to see this face every day, do they? They want to see something else. I have
noticed you've got other people going around the videos. So I do look now and again to, they come up on my Facebook feed, and I think I've said to you before, I started life when I finished university as an estate agent as well, and it takes you back to my early career, and it's just nice to see how things have moved on, and having a nose around the houses.
We used one of the videos we made for a bungalow we sold. The person that bought the bungalow didn't even view it on a portal. They saw the video on my Facebook. They're one of my connections, and I said, can I view it? Showed them, offered, accepted. It's going to complete in about 3 weeks. So the use of video, because on Facebook people love video, 80% of content, I think someone will quote, is all video. You've got to be out there.
Yeah.
In fact, people don't.
Somebody was saying to me the other day that the little image we've got on the screen of that play button, Sammy, I know we've got to back up in a minute. That is the most powerful icon on the internet. People that play button.
They love it.
They want to know what's going to go on behind the scenes when they press that button. It is such a powerful tool on the internet. Sammy, you know, it feels like with your business, like as you say quite rightly, you've got to use video and photography and imagery. It's got to be cost effective for you in your business, but it almost feels like you're waiting for the industry to catch up and the prices to come down. But what you have done, I think it's fair to say, is you've taken the idea of using video and imagery and you've taken it and done it to its absolute best, and not tried to be everything to everyone, but thought, right, how can I be the very best at producing videos and carve out a niche for yourself and a USP in the marketplace. I think that's, you know, for others listening, you know, think about how you can use video, how you can use imagery and use it to its very best in your industry. How can you, you know, video or take images of your product or service and get the messages out there? And I love, Sammy, what you've been saying about it's about helping others as well, isn't it? It's not just about sell. It's about give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
I'm conscious. I know you've got a viewing to get to, and I don't want to stop you from selling a house, Sammy. So it's been great having you join us.
Thank you.
I've got your contact details on the screen. If somebody wants to give you a call, just have a chat either about property, about investment, or just about your video experience. I'm sure you'd be happy to have a quick conversation.
Yeah, I'd love to. I love helping anyone.
Yeah,
Wants to call me.
I know you're
There's
big
my
at
number.
networking. You'd love to have that conversation, see how you can help and support.
Correct.
Brilliant. So great. You know, do make contact with Sammy if you can help. If he can help, or you want some advice or thoughts on using video in your business. Equally, if anything in today's Lunch and Learn has been of interest to you, and hope it has, about business coaching, about marketing, about wider marketing strategies, then please do get in touch. I'd love to have a conversation with you as well. Contact details on the screen. But Sammy, for now, good luck with the viewing or the valuation, whatever it is you're up to. I know you've got a meeting shortly. Thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to our Lunch and Learn next time with you, Sammy, but next time with our listeners and viewers on Monday at 12 o'clock.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a great afternoon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.